Woodcraft hamster, and what I want to show you today is how to put a new handle on a draw knife on a budget. So this is the draw knife. I picked this up a couple of weeks ago, obviously without handles, and rather than going out and buying new handles from a shop or going online, I figured I'd try and make them myself out of a piece of birch that I picked up a little while ago when I was out. And yeah, I'll show you guys what it is I'm planning on doing. So this is the piece of wood I'm going to be using, and all I really want to do at the moment is get a rough idea of how big I want to go. So we'll say here. And then same for the other side. Right, so now I've got my two halves. You basically just want to start shaping them down very, very roughly. Now you can use an axe, you can use a knife, you can use pretty much whatever you've got. I bought this axe quite recently and I'm basically just playing around with it at the moment. I will do a review of most of the tools that I use at some point for anyone that's interested. Okay, so you've got all the bark off. It's up to you really how you want your handles to look and feel. I prefer a little bit of a taper at both ends, that's just my preference. So basically just keep working on your handle until it's sort of roughly the size and the shape that's going to be comfortable to your hand. Right, now I'm just going to tidy up the size of these, because you obviously want your handles matching. That's about right. Take a little bit off here. There. And again, this is really just until you've got the handle to the shape and the size that obviously best suits your hand. I tend to like my handles quite thick. Yeah. That should be fine. Okay, so you can basically now start to smooth off the cuts you've made with the axe, if it's an axe that you used, and just basically bring these handles down, smooth them off, and make them a lot more comfortable to use. There's no real reason why you couldn't leave these rough if you like that kind of finish. And you could even leave the bark on if you really wanted to, but I would probably advise not. You've got a tendency to sort of slip off, and you don't want a thing coming out of your hands while you're using it. And there we go, we have two vaguely symmetrical handles. Both of them feel pretty good for me. And we'll move on to drilling a hole. Right, so I now have, I'm actually cheating a little bit using a drill. When you could do this with an awl or an auger or something like that, but it's actually amazingly difficult and long-winded, so for once in very few occasions I will use something like a drill. I've actually got this just in a small hand vise. Got a little bit of a wedge there just to keep it held down, and what I'm starting off with is a small drill bit which will take me, let's say, this far. Once I've got holes in both, I'll then swap over for the larger drill bit and probably go in only about halfway. And again, because this is green wood, it will tend to shrink a little bit as it dries. I mean, there's a very good chance it might split, hopefully it won't do. That's the first hole drilled. Should I just open that out a little bit more. That should. And what you can do at this point is go back to your smaller drill bit and just clean out some of the sawdust and junk that has got in there. done. Now again, at this point, I mean, you can tidy this up a little bit more, you can chamfer down the edges a little bit. I was actually once told that the more you round off the edges on green wood like this, the less chance there is a little split. I've been doing this for quite a few years now, and whether or not there's actually any truth in it, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't seem to split quite as badly, but I do still get splits, so who knows. Okay. So these are the two handles. I mean, again, you can tidy these up more or less as much as you like. I mean, this will be fine for me. You can let these dry out a little bit. You can smooth them down a bit more with a knife. You can sand them if you want to. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to show you how I would seat them. So basically, and obviously mind the sharp blade on this. You can cover that with something if you want to. But I think I will. Just gives you a little bit of protection. And all you want to do is gently tap this in with a mallet. When I say gently, I mean gently. Being green wood, it does have a tendency to split. I need to give it a little bit of a twist and let it work its way around. Again, as I say, as this dries, this will shrink a little bit and hopefully tighten itself on a little bit more. But there you have one-handled draw knife. Okay, so we've put the handle on, and I suppose the test now is to see whether or not this actually works and whether the handles come off while I'm trying to use it. There we go. Obviously this is not the best way to try and use a draw knife like this. A shave horse would make this a hell of a lot easier. In there as well. As I say, it's not the perfect setup for doing this, but not sure if you can see that particularly well. There's been no movement on either of those handles. They feel fairly well bedded in. This is a particularly knotty, this piece of wood. You can see I've had to put quite a bit of force to get through some of those bits. And yeah, all in all, I'm very pleased with it. So if there's anything else you'd like me to see me do, please leave a note in the comments. If you want to see more of me doing this kind of thing, please hit the subscribe button. Cheers.